Time of filming this, summer in North America is on its way, and that means traveling. Maybe it's camping, or to a cottage, maybe it's just going somewhere else. Or could be you're just going to the pub. Whatever the destination, sometimes you want to take games with you. I'm Steve Tassie, the board game guy, with my top 10 list of games that are easy to travel with. To assemble this list, I had to ask myself, what makes a game good for traveling? There are lots of factors to look at, but basically the two most important aspects are how much space does it take in your luggage and how much space does it take on the table. Some games pack up nice and small, but sprawl out on the playing surface. So games like Iota, the Tiny Epic family of games, and the two-player Tokyo Highway, while in small boxes, they don't make the list. They take too much space on the table. Similarly, some games don't take a lot of space, but have awkwardly large boxes or components. 5-second rules goofy timer makes it travel poorly, even though it can be played almost anywhere. Number 10. The Duke is one of my all-time favorite two-player titles, and it travels very well. The pieces are flat wooden tiles, so they can withstand the elements and won't be blown away, making the Duke especially good for camping trips and cottages or poolside. The box is larger than most of the games on this list, but if you replace the board with a piece of canvas or other fabric with a grid drawn on it, the game packs up even more compactly. The Duke is a chess-like game where players strive to capture their opponent's Duke by moving pieces around the board. Unlike chess, your pieces are drawn randomly from draw bags, and it's these bags that make the Duke so portable. Number 9. Another portable two-player game good for near water is Quarto from Gigamic Games. It's a wooden board and 16 wooden pieces. The mini version is quite small, but like the Duke, the full-size version's board can be replaced with a 4x4 grid drawn on some fabric, making it just as portable as the small version. Quarto is Connect 4's sexy European cousin. It's better looking and more sophisticated. Players want to be the player to complete a line of 4 pieces that all share one characteristic in common, such as shape, height, color, etc. The twist to this one is that your opponent picks the piece you're going to play, and vice versa. Number 8 is the last good lakeside, poolside, or riverside game on this list, and that is Hive. Made out of sturdy Bakelite pieces, Hive is pretty much indestructible. The original game comes in a travel pouch and it doesn't take up much space, but they use some sort of magic shrink-o-ray to create the even smaller Hive Pocket. Hive is often called bug chess, as each player controls a set of bug pieces where each type of bug has a unique way of moving. The goal is to create a situation where your opponent's queen bee is surrounded on all 6 sides. Speaking of pocket versions of other games, we get to number 7, Mr. Jack Pocket. It's a tiny box, and it can be played in about 1 square foot of table surface if you're really cramped. Unlike Hive Pocket and Quarto Mini, which are just miniaturized versions of the original games, Mr. Jack Pocket is actually a different game from its bigger brother, Mr. Jack. Different and better, in my opinion. One player is the famous serial killer Jack the Ripper, trying to avoid detection long enough to win the game, while the other player is Scotland Yard, trying to eliminate the 8 innocent suspects until Jack's true identity is discovered. Two-player games are great for traveling because you probably only have one travel companion, or if you're traveling solo, you might only be able to get one new friend at a time to play with you. But sometimes your travel party is bigger than 1 or 2, or you make friends with a group of people all at once, so the rest of this list has larger player counts in mind. Number 6 is Hey That's My Fish. It plays 2 to 4 players and is a delightfully compact game of tactical penguin deployment. If you need more than the phrase tactical penguin deployment to pique your interest in this one, there's something wrong with you. Number 5. Cahoots is a cooperative card game for 2 to 4 players that's best described as co-op Uno. The box isn't that big, but it is bigger than it needs to be. You can either ditch the insert and use the extra space in the box to pack other games, or you can lose the box entirely and toss the 2 decks of cards into Ziploc bags or a deck box. Players in Cahoots work together to complete a series of objectives by playing cards from their hand. To play a card, it must match either the color or number of the card on top of the pile that you are playing it onto. 4 objectives are visible at a time, and when one is achieved, a new one takes its place until you run out of cards, someone can't make a play, or all the objectives are complete. Speaking of Uno, the next game on the list is Rhino Hero. It is Uno meets Jenga in a 2 to 5 player competitive battle to use all your cards to build a house of cards. Rhino Hero is much smaller and more compact than its sequel game, Rhino Hero Super Battle. Players take turns adding walls to the house of cards and then playing a roof card from their hand. Roof cards will tell the next player how the walls must be placed next and may have a special effect that either makes your life better or makes the next player's life harder. If someone plays their last roof card, they win the game. Otherwise, the player with the fewest cards in hand when the house collapses wins. Roll and writes are an eminently portable game genre. While some have larger boxes or components, most are very compact and don't take much space to play. My favorite variation on the roll and write format is the flip and fill game, Welcome To, and it's the next game on the list. Basically, all you need is space for 3 decks of cards and their discard piles. You don't even need a table if everyone has a clipboard or hardback book or laptop or something firm to support their score sheet. And it supports as many players as you have score sheets. In Welcome To, you are architects building a subdivision and you want your streets to be the most desirable neighborhoods. Players pair number cards with effect cards like build a fence, dig a pool, landscape a park, etc. to fill in the addresses on their streets. The highest score has made the best neighborhood. Just One is a co-op word guessing game with a fairly small box size, a little bigger than a paperback novel, but like some of the other entries on this list, you can ditch the box and bag the bits, and Just One takes up just one tiny corner of your luggage. Players work together to help each other guess words on their cards. The guesser of the round has a word to guess, and everyone else will write down a clue secretly that they think will help the person guess their word. Before the guesser gets to see the pool of clue words, the players must compare each other's clue words, and any that are deemed too similar are eliminated from the pool. And finally, no list on compact games would be complete without an entry from Oink Games, a Japanese company that specializes in small boxes and small table presents. A Fake Artist Goes to New York is a social deduction game for up to 8 players that fits in a tiny box and practically takes no space at all to play. In Fake Artist, every round a different player is the master, and they secretly assign a drawing topic to all but one of the other players. The player who does not get the topic is the fake artist. Players take turns contributing to the communal drawing, and once everyone has added a couple of lines to the picture, the group tries to identify who is the fake. If the fake is discovered, the artists win the round, but the fake can steal the victory by correctly guessing the subject of the drawing. The master wins if the fake wins. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Steve Tassi, the Board Game Guy, wishing you happy game-filled travels.